Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, this video is just one where I'm going to show you what an utterly awful and repugnant man Humza Yousaf truly is. We've already done the video earlier, which showed that he couldn't even say the word Jew. He hates them that much. He's so anti-Semitic that even saying the word was very, very hard for him. But we're going to show now that he has a deep, unabiding love for the people, the wonderful people of Hamas who went to Israel on the 7th of October and committed some of the worst atrocities ever seen. He supports them, and why not? He's given them £750,000 of your money. And he wants to continue. While the rest of the world is shunning this organisation out, it's a United Nations organisation. They're cutting the payments, they're saying no more. He wants the payments to continue because these guys are doing such a good job in ridding the world of the Jewish menace as he sees it. I think we can now say that Humza Yousaf needs to resign. He's no longer fit to be a politician. And indeed, he is certainly not fit to be a member of a civilised society. He's rather barbaric, don't you think? But let's take a look and see how awful he is and why he still wants to give these people money. Here goes. So Humza Yousaf corrects his own officials over funding for UN agency linked to Hamas terror, because they are saying, "Oh, we're not going to pay, and he's going, "No, the payments," he said, "will continue." Everyone else is stopping them, but everyone else isn't a Western civilized democracy run by someone who hates Jews because of his gang. His gang won't allow him to stop payments. The boys down the mosque won't like it, will they? The First Minister insists the SNP government has not paused or withdrawn taxpayer donations to the UNRWA, despite the UK and other Western nations calling for a halt to aid after staff were sacked over their involvement in the October the 7th attack on Gaza. He wants to keep putting money into an organisation that kills and beheads babies. That's who this man is. This is the leader. But of course he will think that. One only has to look to see why he will think that. His gang don't like Jews. And so anything that gets rid of the Jews in the world is a good thing for him. And so of course he wants to keep funding this kind of thing. Everyone else thinks it's pretty appalling. You know, the beheading of children is not a good thing. He obviously thinks it is. First Minister Humza Yousaf appeared to be at odds with his own government officials today over funding for the UN's relief agency in Gaza. The United Nations Relief and Work Agency sacked several employees last week over suspicions they may have taken part in the barbaric October the 7th attack on southern Israel. This is how corrupt and damaging the UN is. Do not think the UN is some virtuous organisation. It's an agency for anarchy. It's an agency that wants to destroy order and decency and the West. And that's why they do things like this. 8 Western governments, including the UK, have suspended funding in response, with Business Secretary Kemi Badenoch telling Sky News it's quite right that we suspend our payments to UNRWA. The Scottish Government, which sanctioned 2 donations totalling £750,000 to these tourists, said it was deeply concerned by the reports. A spokesperson told the BBC, "Given our recent funding of UNRWA, we have been in direct touch with them today and have requested further updates on the investigation." He said, "We have no plans to provide further support to UNRWA at this stage." That's what the official said, and that would be the correct position. They're not getting any more money because they are a bunch of murdering bastards who like to behead babies, but they do it under the auspices of the United Nations. However, Mr. Yousaf then took to social media to declare that funding had not been paused or withdrawn, despite UNRWA's alleged links to the Hamas attacks. So he knows that this organisation is working pro-Hamas, pro the beheading of babies, pro all the atrocities that happened. And he still insists upon funding them. What does that tell you about the anti-Semitic Jew-hating Humza Yousaf? Does it tell you that he actually is a responsible leader of a Western civilized democracy? Or does it tell you that he is a piece of barbaric scum that actually wants the genocide to continue? He wants the Jews eradicated from the face of the earth. In my view, it's the second. I think he is an anti-Semitic, Jew-hating piece of filth. He wrote on X, to be clear, @ScottGov has not paused or withdrawn aid to Hamas. They've spelt it UNRWA, but we know it's Hamas. He said, we've previously provided as much as we can within our financial constraints. It should be none. You should not be sending any money abroad. It is not your place. It is the United Kingdom's government's place. If there's any aid to be sent, your money should be spent on your people. You are not a nation state. It is not your money to give to murderers of children. He said, we will always seek to do more where we can and urge others to continue to provide aid to the people of Gaza. It's funny that since he's taken over, every single payment that's gone to a foreign country, every single one has gone to a Muslim country. Isn't that weird and coincidental? I'm sure it's only a coincidence because, of course, he's never going to give it to a country that's not Muslim, and he's never going to certainly give it to a white country because, God forbid, he gives it to anything white. He's a racist, as we know. He hates white people and he hates Jews. And the thing is, I can say that without an alleged because it's true. Scottish Government leader Douglas Ross responded, the claims of UNRWA staff involved in the terrorist attack on Israel are serious and deeply troubling. Governments across the world have raised concerns and paused support. That would be the responsible and right thing for Humza Yousaf to do. But he won't because he wants the killing to continue. As well as the UK, the US State Department, Australia, Canada, Germany, Finland and the Netherlands and Italy have all suspended donations. But the Irish government said it will continue funding because the agency provides life-giving assistance to 2.3 million people. And of course, Ireland has a great tradition in paying for, people who murder other people. It's a lot of solace there. So it's not surprising. Funny how Ireland was also kind of pro the Germans in the Second World War, that group as well. Weird, isn't it? You've got these two groups that both love, the losers of the Second World War, and they keep doing things like this. On Saturday, also Ireland's got a very little Indian man, hasn't it, in charge. On Saturday, the head of UNRWA, Philip Lazzarini, said it is shocking to see a suspension of funds to the agency in reaction to the allegations against a small group of staff. Well, maybe they shouldn't have done it. Maybe you should stop handing the money to Hamas, because all the things you're doing is promoting Hamas, rather than letting the people get rid of Hamas and saying to them, this is the money, we'll give all you this, we'll give you this aid, all you have to do is get rid of Hamas and let the people do it. But of course the people in Gaza won't. They love Hamas. Gaza is Hamas. It's all one and the same. Anyway, a UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, warned that due to cuts, UNRWA will have to reduce support for more than 2 million Palestinians in Gaza as soon as next month. Do you know, here's me, not giving a shit. They started it. They did it. They killed the babies. And now they're crying because the people came back. The Israelis came back and said, don't do that to us. And they closed the border down. Also, I noticed, if all these Muslim countries love the Gazans so much, why isn't Egypt opening up its border and putting the aid in that way? Then there'd be no issue, would there? Let the Egyptians feed the Gazans. Let the Egyptians give them aid. Let the Egyptians open the gate and let the Gazans out so they can live peacefully in Egypt. No, they won't, because of the other Muslim countries. They hate the Gazans too. They hate all the Palestinians. The Palestinians are trouble. Everybody hates them. This is the thing. Israelis hate them for obvious reasons, and even the Egyptians can't stand and abide them. Nobody wants them. And yet they say Palestine, from the river to the sea. Well, the river is the River Jordan. So let's pick up all the Palestinians and put them in Jordan, because Jordan is Palestine as far as they're concerned. Jordan doesn't want them either. Nobody wants them. You have to ask why. Well, there's one word. Hamas, which is an organisation funded by Humza Yousaf. I'm coming up. Foreign aid is just money laundering. It's just corruption. One only has to look at the Ukraine, where billions upon billions of pounds, countries that say, oh, we can't afford to do this, we can't afford to do this because we've got the money, are giving billions of pounds to Ukraine. And you have to ask, where's the money going? And it's very weird how a man who was a professional comedian in Ukraine, Zelensky, who becomes Prime Minister and almost instantly becomes a billionaire. I don't have a problem with a billionaire becoming the president, but I do have a problem with the president becoming a billionaire. It's all corruption. And they're all putting their money in. The millions, billions of pounds of America's money, Britain's money, all these countries putting billions in. And where's it going? Straight back out into the pockets of the leaders of the countries that are putting it in. Foreign aid really should be banned. If you want to give foreign aid, don't give cash, give credit notes. And say to them, we'll give you £1 million of credit notes. And then you can go and buy stuff using those credit notes from Britain. The only place you can exchange it up is to buy the stuff from Britain. That benefits Britain and it benefits them because the credit goes go on the ground and the people use it. It's not cash and it doesn't get given back. But they don't like credit notes because, you know, you can't steal them. They're all crooks and the Gazans getting what they deserve. I've got no sympathy. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And remember, Humza Yousaf, the man who gives your hard-earned money to Hamas. Bye.